All right. So basically, what the idea is here is that over the weekend, over the Thanksgiving holiday, I went into a shop in a little mountain town and I found this crystal sword thing. And it's a selenite sword. And so, what one does with that sort of a selenite sword is you use it for meditative energy clearing purposes. So the point here is to begin what we're doing this evening with kind of a crystal sword meditation. And we're going to look at that card up on the screen right above the sword. And that's the Lover's card. So you can see the Lover's card on screen. And the idea is to kind of get in the frame of mind for the tarot reading event. Look at that Lover's card and think of its energy with the three people in it and that energy above their heads, which is kind of like, the six, the Lover's card, and six represents the sort of harmonious attraction and feeling from the heart and that kind of community feel that you have. So the idea is to think right now, take some deep breaths in and let them out, just sort of relax, look at the screen, look at the crystal sword. It's white light energy. It's a very clearing energy for meditative purposes. So you think of that sword as cutting away the other concerns that are distracting, problems, whatever anxieties and tensions have been around today. And you use the white light energy of that crystal sword that's up on the screen to just sort of cut all that away. You take a breath in, you hold it, you take it and you let it out slowly in, you hold it, and then out. And you think of that crystal white light energy from the sword there, and you let it combine with that card that's on the table, the Lover's card, the three people, and that energy that's sort of floating over them. It's the same idea. It's that crystalline energy, clearing energy. Let all your other concerns drop. Think about those people and their community and their sort of, their feeling for each other, their harmonious interaction. And that, you kind of want to walk around with that energy over your head, like in that card. And the six always has that idea behind it of sort of harmonious communal feeling, attraction and pleasure. Let those things occupy your mind for the course of this event, because that's the tone setter for what we're doing this evening. And as I said, I was in this little shop and there was this crystal sword and I was curious and I picked it up and this guy walked up and said, "Oh yeah, that's a selenite sword. It's the crystal. It's meant to cut away all negativity. So you hold that and, let me go and pick it up for a second. You use it to cut away the things that are binding and restricting you. So that's why I have it on the tarot table tonight. I think it's kind of an effective meditative tool. It doesn't matter if you believe it's magic or crystal woo-woo power or not. It's a meditative focusing tool. So you can think about that kind of energy and let every other concern drop away, so that while you're in this space right now, you and your avatar, you kind of just let everything go and think about what that crystal sword represents for cutting away problems from your mind. And think about the Lover's card just for another minute. And then what I will do is I will come in And we will start the live readings right here where you are all standing right now. So just take a minute and ponder that card, because it really is an effective one to set a tone. Just give it a few minutes, and then I will come in. Just take a few deep breaths in and out. Just let them, focus on that sword. Take a deep breath in, then look at that card, the Lover's card, with that positive energy floating over them, and let the air out. In, and then back out. Breathe in, and then back out. And just a few more in and back out on that positive communal feeling of the card. In and then back out. Just a very simple, effective way of relaxing, essentially, and focusing. And now I will switch the screen over to a 3-card set of the tarot. Now, can everyone hear me? Yes? Okay, I'm unmuting everyone. Hi.
Yes.
How are you all tonight?
Yes.
Fucking amazing, dog.
Alright, we're good.
Excellent.
It's good to see you again.
Good to see you guys. Okay, so
Fucking ate some magnetite. I'm fucking tired of shit.
what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the hand raises.
Oh, how do I
Well,
raise
I
my
have to-
hand?
You gotta go in
I actually have to enable the hand raising thing, I believe. Okay, hand raises are now enabled. Okay,
Oh, shit, I'll raise my hand.
so T. Gupti, Tia Gupti, where are you?
Hi, I'm right here.
Is there a Tia Gupti in
Tia
the house?
Gupti?
I'm right here.
Tia, hi.
Where are you?
Okay, so let's start off with you. And you can ask a question, and then I will make the cards change and randomize the number of times you tell me to, between 1 and 10. So go ahead. You have a question, or you just want sort of a general?
Just a second. Okay. Is a question about love
Okay.
or just a general?
If you want to do a question about love, that's totally fine. You can ask whatever you like.
I'm already in love, so I don't know. I don't really have a question.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Well, then probably what you want is a general reading. Like, we can do a reading and say, here's something that you can think about for the next few days. It's very simple.
Okay.
You like
cool.
that?
Let's go
Okay.
with that. Thank
Pick
you.
a number from 1 to 10 for me.
7.
a whole number. Okay, 7 you said. I'm going to change these cards 7 times. So look at the screen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay.
How's he doing that?
Fucking magic, bro.
What it is, it's a JavaScript randomizer running on a web page that is being, that I'm broadcasting in on this screen. Okay.
That's so
I'm going to now mute everyone so we don't get a lot of feedback. And Tia, I'm going to do your reading. And it's a general kind of reading. Okay, so let's look. We've got 3 cards. The card on the left is kind of what you can depend on, that you have already. It's in you. It's a factor that you can fall back on and not worry about. The card in the middle is basically saying, this is something I want you to think about right away and keep in the forefront of your mind. And the card on the right is something you want to kind of go after. Now, I'm going to actually spawn myself a laser pointer because it really helps with showing you what's going on up here. So, laser. Ba-boom. And here it is. Okay. The card on the left, something you've got, and it's the cups, and it's a 3. Now, the cups are your heart. Okay, so the first thing that came out of you when you came in was the mention of love, and you're already in love. Well, this card is kind of saying, oh yeah, that's pretty obvious, because it's a big 3 of cups, and the 3 of cups is like activity. The 3 means there's stuff going on, there's stuff you're putting into action, you're taking care of business, you're engaged in active pursuit, or your heart is, something is at work, something's going on, and it's in motion. And so that's why that 3 is sitting there, and it's basically saying you don't have to worry about this because this is just true, this is happening. So it's something that's leading you up to this middle card, which is a big major arcana card, and it's basically saying, okay, this is something I want you to really get ready for. And what it shows is a kind of a tumultuous situation that a lot of people interpret as being sort of really chaotic, but really, if you look at the characters coming out of the tower, they are actually more significantly than falling. It looks almost like they're looking for something. Well, what are they looking for? They're looking for the results of this massive change. And you can see all those red and blue and white dots coming down. That is a new energy. Those are new elements that are produced by this change. And they are coming down and they're littering the ground, and these folks falling out of the tower are actually engaged in a positive process of looking for those new elements to use them, to put them to use. The top of the tower is a crown. And when you see a crown coming out, being sort of pushed off the top, that indicates the letting go of ego, the letting yourself go with a situation, this sort of not trying to keep charge of everything all the time, the way maybe we all kind of try to do, sometimes too often. So this is saying, look, let your guard down. That's what the main thing in this card is trying to tell you. Let your guard fall so that these new elements can come out and you can seek them and find them and put them to use. Something new is happening here. Okay, now this is what the cards want you to really think about. And they lead you to the card on the right, which is something to go for, to seek. And it's a 5 of wands. The wands are the burning torch of creative life, of everything that is in passion. And this passion can be an element, obviously, of a love relationship, or it can be creative energy that, things you make, whatever it is you seek and want is represented by this card on the right. And the 5 is the number signifying change, and it plays in with the card in the middle. So you've got this big change with all of this potential for growth afterwards in the middle. And then you've got this card recommending that you, in the near term, use this change creatively. Use your creative force, your energy, your drive, your will to seek a person out, to be with a person, to make something happen. Use that, and don't be afraid of that change. Actually go for it even more. So this whole reading is basically, the trajectory of it is suggesting, yes, there's a lot of active emotion going on right now. It's going to create change, perhaps some form of upheaval. It could be totally internal upheaval, but it's good. Go with it. Use that energy to find your new path, and don't be afraid of that change. Actually dive right into it. That's what that card on the right is suggesting. So there you have kind of a general idea, something to think about. Now I'm going to once again unmute everyone. It's a positive. It's your heart. It's emotion. It's change. It's sort of these things can be destabilizing, but ultimately it's saying enjoy that process.
Thank you, sir. That was wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Right.
Wow, so much information. He's amazing. He's
So
really
now let's see who. There's Ben. Ben, you raised your hand,
That's me. That's me.
and let's go to you, Ben. Yes, I see you. Hi,
That's
Ben. How are
me.
you?
Yes. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yep.
Can you hear me? Okay, cool. Okay. I wanted like a general reading, but I also had a specific question.
Okay.
Too. Is that okay?
Yeah. I mean,
So.
I think.
Well, generally, I need a reading for like my finances,
Okay.
but I also recently I had a member of my family. Well, my cat
Okay.
died. And well, we recently we got it
Okay.
neutered, got him neutered. And I wanted to know, like, should I bury the cat with his balls and stuff like that, like as a whole piece, or like I wanted to keep part of it, because it's part of my family, but that's like a big question that's been like me and my wife and everything also.
Okay. So it sounds like you're kind of concerned with the, how to deal with the passing of your cat. That's kind of like in your
It's
mind a lot,
and tough.
know. So
Well, that and like I want to move on and we were talking about getting a
Yeah.
new cat, but like, should I just bury the whole thing, or should I,
well, okay. So pick a number from 1 to 10.
Let's do like 2.
Okay. Hold on 1 second. Let
2.
me do that then. 2, 1, 2. Okay. So actually, this is pretty ideal. I keep losing track. Let me
Okay.
get my little laser over here again. First, I'm going to have to mute everyone again. Sometimes these things are so hard to do. I don't know why these anyway, the laser pointer. Okay, here we go. It's very hard to grab these things sometimes, and I don't understand why. There we go. Okay. We're talking about basically an emotional issue. How do you get past the death of an important family member, a pet? How do you move on? How do you deal with it? So the cards are basically going to suggest kind of things to keep in mind, really. And what you've got immediately, what hits me here is that we've got kind of, there's a feeling of having to think things through and having to get at who we really are and what we're really feeling in this situation. And the heart plays an enormous role in it. And death clearly is a factor here. We've got a card here that is normally called death by most people. It's actually not. It's got no name in the Tarot de Marseille deck. But it has to do with much more than death. And we'll get to that in a moment because it really fits right in with what your topic is. And it's the moving on aspect. So let's go now and look at something you have on the left. This card of the Hermit, a major arcana card. And it signifies, it's the closest card to the idea of meditation. It's basically a person who wants to seek his or her true motivation, true self, to get in and do the exploration, get into what is really driving me, what's really there, what do I really think? And it takes being alone sometimes. That's why the card is the Hermit. The Hermit is the person that goes off to the cabin in the woods or the lonely spot, whatever they had. It could be their back porch, it could be their backyard, their own bedroom. But anyway, it's basically saying take the time to quiet everything down and to really sort of ponder your feelings and the situation to figure out what it is you really want. And the card is here on the left, so it's basically saying you have this innate ability. This is not something foreign to you. This is something you can say, well, I'm not afraid of doing this. I've done it before and I can do it now. I can find the answer to how I want to deal with the passing of an important family member. And I can do it quietly. So basically, you can just rest at ease in that process. Now, what the middle card is saying is, this is your heart. This is a huge thing that has happened. And you can't just treat things lightly and move on blithely to the next thing. Your heart won't let you do that. So you have to allow the heart its full expression of what it wants. That's why the Ace of Cups is here. The cups are feeling. The cups represent your heart. Your love for this pet is paramount in this picture. And so the Hermit is going off to take the time he needs to figure himself out. But what's primary going on with the Hermit is his love for another creature. And that's what this middle card is saying to pay the most attention to. It then moves you into the right-hand card, which is often inaccurately called the Death card. It's actually the nameless card. But what it really signifies is the gradual process that happens after a loss of any kind, and how that love that you had for whatever was lost or whomever was lost, how that feeling fertilizes and enriches where you're headed to the next thing. But it takes its own time. That's why this card actually shows someone who's more engaged in farming than anything else, tilling the earth with what was lost, with what is past, with what has died, tilling the earth. That's a burial. And he's burying what was lost completely. He's putting it into the earth of his life because he's a farmer and he's enriching the soil with all of that in order to make what comes next even better and more positive. That's the natural cycle of life. Things pass, but they're never forgotten. They don't just vanish. But if you bury them with what is due to them, with the proper significance, and you don't lose that heart in the middle there, and you do things honestly because you went off and you figured out how to be honest with yourself, what you really wanted. If you do all of that, then this card on the right, this fertilization process leads to the next thing in your life in the way that it's supposed to. So that is the idea here. But that big cup in the middle, it's just screaming, let your love for this creature, this cat, let it speak loudly to you. And that will guide you.
No, that's crazy. That's crazy. That popped up like that.
I know.
I'm probably gonna have to do a lot of meditation about that. The Hermit. And,
Yeah.
call upon that woo power or whatever to figure out. But
I know.
No, that.
You're very welcome. Yeah. And I mean, you don't even have to get that woo with it, because really the Hermit, it's just that, you can treat it as lightly as you want. It's just the idea that you sit down, even if it's over a cup of coffee, and you're just like, okay, let me just, shut everything else out for a while and just figure out, I know what to do here, and I'm going to follow that because obviously I loved my cat.
So no woo. It just sit alone and meditate.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. That gives some peace.
Okay. Now let me move to Caleb. Caleb, you must be here somewhere. Caleb, hi, how are you? There you are.
Hey, good.
What would you like
Didn't
to
expect to be called in.
What would you like to ask?
So, well, one's really personal, but I don't really care if these people know or
Okay.
not. My daughter has nonverbal autism, and she got COVID back in August, and she's been digressing hugely. And I just want to know if she'll ever get better, or if I just need to accept it how it is, It's probably the most thing that I like to use and drink, and doing all the different addictions out there in the world, because I'm just so hurt from her not being able to speak and socialize. And I'm a single parent, and it's just really hard on me.
Yeah.
Maybe you have an answer for that. That'd be great.
Well, I have a very dear friend who has 2 children with autism. So yeah, I know what you're talking about. I know the feelings. Yeah. Okay, so pick a number from 1 to 10. 9. Okay, hang on 1 second.
My birthday in a couple of weeks, so that's the only number I could think of.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Now I'm going to mute everyone's microphone so that we don't get speaker feedback. And try to find my laser pointer. Here we go. Okay. So what you have here are, again, 3 cards. The left is an aspect of you that is reliable, that you can depend on and put to use here. The card on the right is something to keep in mind right away over the short term. And the card on the right is where we're headed, what to seek. So let's look at this card on the left, which is extremely important, and it's a major, big tarot card. It's one of the 22 majors, which are deeply seated, rooted aspects of personality and psyche. The star, l'étoile. It is the card of generosity, of sharing, of giving, of doing all you can, of pouring yourself into life, giving everything you have and are to a person or a situation. And the subject matter that you have raised is family, is a dear person, the most important person in your world, and you feel all the stresses of helping them and keeping them growing and nurturing them, no matter what problems they have, no matter how hard it is for them or you. That card is the signifier of that quality in you. What this person in the card does, and we have a woman in the card, but gender means nothing in tarot other than to signify certain different aspects of a personality that can be in a man or a woman or anyone. And so she takes all of this magic and this love and energy, everything she finds, everything she learns, everything that she has, she transfers from above. She transfers it and she pours it into that river, the river of life, so to speak. But it's the river of any scenario that's important to you. It's the river of your family, okay, of your relationship with your daughter. It's that love, it's that connection. And she takes, in this case, you, she takes all she has and pours it in constantly without question. And so what this card is doing is it's simply remarking on that quality of yours. And it's saying, this is always going to be there and is always going to be playing the major role. And you're never going to forget it. You're never going to lose it. It's completely reliable. And it's the most important factor of all. So don't even worry about it, because that's simply you, that card is saying. Now, that being said, and having that ability and having all of that generosity brings us to what the card in the middle is saying. Okay, now let's keep this in mind, but this is short term. These two cards over here aren't too significant because they're number cards. Number cards tend to be sort of a short process of development rather than a long, deep one. Now, this 5 indicates, the 5 is the number of unsettled new things coming in, new problems, and you feel uncomfortable. They break your security down. They intrude upon the stability of the home. But the 5, it makes you feel that way, but the 5 is actually the arrival of a new element that can be used to further whatever it is you're trying to build or achieve. But they're always sort of uncomfortable. And this is the swords, the suit of swords, which is your mind, your head, your thinking. Things are confusing. You're worried. You're worried about someone who's had a little extra difficulty recently and has maybe, you use the word regressed. This is a very mental, it's the mind, it's the brain, and that's what the swords represent. But not only that, they represent problems and solving them, how you solve them, how disagreements are handled, how conflict is handled. In this situation, because of the way you framed it, I suspect that it has to do with communication. And the 5 being the number of unsettled, problematic communication, causing some concern. The 5 is always representative of some kind of concern. However, the 5 is always also representing the new angle that you hadn't seen before, that can cause you concern, but it provides new opportunity. And the card here is saying, don't forget that. Keep that in mind. This 5, as unsettling and discomforting as it might be, always presents opportunity to cut through problems. That's why that sword is there in the middle, symbolic of breaking through the walls of the surrounding 4. So there's a breakthrough that's coming. And the cards are looking back at this quality you have of all this generosity of spirit being so deep. And the card is basically going to say, well, all of the energy required to do this breakthrough here is present. It simply goes without saying. Now, the cards are saying, okay, so here's where we're going. Let's shoot for this over here on the right. And that's the wands. And the 6 is that number of incredible pleasure and attraction. But the attraction, be careful how you interpret it, because it has a lot to do with communication. The 6 is the number of communal, harmonious communication that's effortless. Okay? That attraction word is basically the way people relate to each other in any size community. And they do it with a great deal of freedom when the 6 arises. Now, the 6 is of wands, and the wands are fire. They are creative spirit. They are the way you approach problems and solve them. And so what the card is saying basically is all of this generosity here is an ability to pour yourself into a scenario, into a problem, a situation. All of that energy causes a breakthrough, an intellectual breakthrough, a communications breakthrough, and leads you and requires at the same time this real opening of communication. And you will come to this creative solution. There's some other angle here, some creative solution to assisting the freedom of communication, which always with the 6 indicates harmony and basically having a really great time. You're going to find some kind of a way of enjoying something between you. There's happy, cheerful communication coming soon. That's why these are number cards. These are not long processes. These are relatively soon. So keep this star card in mind as being the most important aspect of your personality and allowing you to break through the uncomfortable situation involving communication and thinking and seek the creative solution over here using your creative energy to allow for this harmony and pleasure. And it involves creativity. Remember that. It involves enormous, what is it someone loves to do? Even if it's as simple as bouncing a ball. What is it they love? Point in that direction. That's what that card suggests. And things open up with the 6, always. I just unmuted.
Thank you. I appreciate
You're very
that.
welcome.
You know, I think it was meant, all those cards were meant for me to hear them in that order. So it made sense to me. It might not have made sense to someone else, but I think it was meant
Well,
for
I
me.
think that I
appreciate
can
your
kind
time.
of tell just talking to you in a few moments, that star card, I think that star card is right on the money, you know?
Yeah, I've had my daughter since she's
Yeah.
1. I've had full custody of her.
Yeah,
So that's I'm doing everything I can. I talked to the doctor today.
yeah.
Everything I can, and I think the breakthrough and me accepting it and enjoying the little things is
Yep.
important.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Appreciate
you're
it.
welcome. Now, let me
I'm gonna be your number 1 fan
see.
now.
There is Kitten is here. Kitten, where are you?
Hi, yes.
Yeah.
Kitten, hi.
Hi.
Okay. It's your time.
Yay. I would like a general reading, and if I could ask a question, it would be like, what is my life's purpose? And my number is 4.
Aha. Let me do 4. Okay, so life's purpose in sort of a general way, I think.
Yeah. Nothing too specific, just what am I meant to do?
Okay, 4, right? Okay,
Yes.
hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh boy, this is a good one. Okay. The reason I say that is I'm going to mute microphones now. The reason I say that is because you've got 2 major cards sitting here in a 3-card reading. Where is my laser pointer? Here it is. Sorry. Okay. You've got 2 major cards here and a court card. So this reading has a lot of sort of deep, long-lasting information that develops over kind of a long haul. Now, the 2 majors are on the left and the middle, and then we have a court card on the right. So this left card is basically an aspect that you can kind of assume is there and is playing a role for you. It's built into you in many ways. And this is here to sort of remind you of it. It's the Lover's card. And the Lover's card, we started out with tonight, meditating on it with a crystal sword sort of thing on the tarot table I have. And the idea is you've got love, affection, deep feeling, the heart. You've got 3 people here involved. So there's always sort of this interpretation that there's some kind of communication. There's a problem. There's 3 people instead of just 2. Who knows what it is, the decision that has to be made. But if you look at the card in a very, very simple way, you've got 3 people all kind of, they're communicating. They're talking amongst one another. And above them is this very positive sort of love energy. And so if you just take, you kind of want to just carry, you want to walk around with that glowing orb of love energy over your head, pretty much. I mean, it kind of makes everything better. But what this card is saying is you have a lot of this in you. You have a lot of feeling. There's a lot of love, and sort of these situations with people arise where you have to discuss things and you just do it. You're good at it. You have that nature. You're always sort of seeking what the heart wants, even if it leads into some confusing situations. You talk them through, you deal with them in a positive way, and that energy just continues to drift around you. That Cupid sort of energy up there radiating all those positive rays. It just influences the people that are with you, okay? And the card here just wants to say, hey, keep that in mind. That's always around you, so rely on that, in seeking your purpose. Rely on what you love as you seek your purpose in life, because it gets you through confusing situations, that love energy. It lets you deal with, the 3 people represent sometimes a decision that needs to be made. Well, the decisions that come for you as you determine your life's purpose will be made based on you knowing what your true feelings are. And you have that power because there's that card telling you do, reminding you of it. Now, coming into the middle, you have another major card, which is a massively important card and a very difficult one for most people to deal with. The Hanged Man, Le Pendu, the 12th. And what he represents, or she, makes no difference, is let things happen and give them the time they need. Don't force it.
You have to kind of give up. It's almost like what you do in meditation. You drop your arms, you maybe close your eyes or sort of halfway. You stop worrying about what's happening down the street. You stop worrying about the decision. You just say, hang on a second. Let me clear my head. Let me come down to earth. Literally, this person has their head below ground level, if you notice, which indicates letting yourself literally come down to earth and putting your thoughts, you're letting them go, planting yourself, letting yourself grow very gradually like a tree would without panicking. So in other words, the card is basically saying, okay, what do you want to do with your life? What do you need to do with your life? Don't rush it. This guy doesn't rush anything. You don't hang upside down like this and put your head below ground level if you're in any rush to make any decisions. You're basically saying, I'm going to let nature take its course for a while. I'm going to let things sort themselves out, and I'm not going to push myself. I'm going to be very, very easygoing with myself because I don't have to figure it all out next week. That's what the Hangman says. And what this set of 3 cards is telling you, because he's in the middle, it's saying this is the factor you should think about right now going forward. Keep it in the forefront of your mind that you don't have to, there's no urgency here. Let things develop naturally because it will all come to you because of this awareness of what your heart tells you over here. Now, what it's leading you to over here on the right is you have a court card, which is sort of personality. It's not hugely long lasting. It can be sort of changeable now and then. But the basic idea here is this king representing mastery. And he's holding the cup. He's the king of cups. And that, again, is the heart. That cup fits right in with the card over on the left, the lover's card. It's the same idea. It's the heart. And the king there has this cup kind of perched on his knee, and he's looking off this way. He's looking off toward what needs to be done. And he has this ability to master his feelings. He understands his heart, just like the lover's card says you do. But he combines all of that sort of emotional wisdom with mastery of the world, which could play a role in work, how you deal with situations. He has authority and skill, but it's all done in a very calm, steady manner. You don't see this guy jumping up and taking action with a sword. You see him sitting comfortably. You know, he's got his one hand in his belt, the other hand holding his cup over here. He's not worried. He's playing along with what has gradually come to his awareness from the middle card, from allowing himself time to develop slowly like a tree, you know, or a plant. He allows himself that time, and then he finds what he loves, and he knows exactly what it is he wants to do, and he's darn good at it because he's a king. And this he, king, it's all interchangeable. Change it to a woman, change it to yourself. It has nothing to do with whether you're a man or a woman. So in general, this trajectory of understand that you're able to find your heart, what you love. Rely on that power. Give yourself the time you need without being in a worry about it. There's no timetable. And you will develop this understanding of your own heart and what you want, and you will master what it is you do. And that's what that's saying.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It was a little bit of a different reading from anything I've heard you do, like tonight and last
Yeah.
night. It felt a little different, so there's a lot of thinking to do, and I'll try to keep these in mind.
Yeah, that's
Thank
an
you.
interesting point you make about tarot readings. It's like the tarot reader has to be careful not to try to do a single approach in readings. You have to be able to sort of say, what comes comes. You know what I mean? And so if it changes your approach, then it's doing that because it's supposed to. It's an interesting quality about tarot reading, but I think you kind of nailed it with what you said. You're aware of that, I think. And that's gonna
Thank you
I'm
again.
gonna use that topic for another event. I think it's a really important tarot factor. Okay, so let me get the next Nate. Nate is on this list here. Let me move my panel over here. Okay, Nate.
How you gonna
Where's
list?
Nate? You hit your hand. No, that's not Nate. There you are, Nate. Hi.
What's up?
How you
I
gonna
don't think I'm
list?
Done with the tarot
You
reading.
raise your
You
you
press
raise
raise
you use
hand.
the raise hand button.
That better?
Heard
Thank you.
Okay, Nate, go ahead.
That a lot better. Oh. All right. I just got done with a tarot reading. Actually, I didn't even know about this one, and I just came on.
I think
needed
he sees it.
clarification. So this was one question.
Okay.
I
need.
think it's like
We have. I am in a very difficult situation where I can
This guy's
stay in
professing
my
his feelings.
same field of career.
Were you-
I'm very
I heard you.
in depth of it. Very successful, very knowledgeable about automotive.
Okay.
It is. Or I can go completely in another direction in a whole nother field and start at the bottom.
Okay, because you have
The three cards that
you have an opportunity of some kind. Okay.
Yeah. The three cards that I just pulled earlier on tonight were the Hangman, Ten of Cups, and I want to say the Three of Pentacles.
Okay, so you're
It was just
you have this profession that you're really good at already, but you have a possibility for something else, and you're kind of like, well, if I stick with this thing that I really know, it's safer. But if I go over to this other thing, there might be even a better opportunity, but I don't really know a whole lot about it yet. Is that sort of the idea?
it could also be the worst. It's more of a gamble.
It's a
I
gamble.
guess.
Okay.
Something I have never done it.
You've never done it. Okay. All right. Give me a number from 1 to 10.
Let's do
8. Okay. I'm going to mute people, and then I will change the cards. Okay. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Where are you? Here we are. Okay. Now, 3 cards. You've got a card on the left, kind of there in you, kind of a power you have. Card in the middle, something to like keep focused on in the near term, right away. And the card on the right is where we're going, what we're going to try and get to. All right, let me get my laser pointer again. Now, on the left, okay, this is something you've kind of got, and it's the Ace of Wands, and it's highly creative. It means that you know how to use your energy, and you have this drive to do what you really enjoy doing. And it's a big thing in your life. If you're doing automotive work, you're creative in your approach. If you're fixing a car, if you're building a car, there are all kinds of ways and problems, things that happen where you have to apply creative energy. You have to apply not only skill, but you have to like push yourself to go through problems, things that are difficult to figure out, especially now with all these computerized cars. And you really have to have a lot of knowledge. You have to be able to apply what you know constantly over and over again, I'm sure, with car work, because you've got to keep customers happy. So, what this card is saying is there's enormous ability that you're able to call upon and apply. You're able to solve problems in unique, creative ways. And that kind of thing impresses people you work for. It impresses people who are buying your services, and that's always there in you. So you've got that. You've got this innate ability to solve things and to build things and make them. And this card wants you to keep that in mind. It could also mean that you have the ability to apply all of that talent and energy to learning new things that might scare you. And the card is saying, hey, why are you scared? Because you've got this incredible ability. It's going to get you through whether you're working on cars or airplanes. Doesn't really matter. If computers, anything, because you have it. That hand, look at all the energy radiating out from that club. All those little colored squiggly, that's to indicate positive growth energy, creative energy, always coming out of you. So that card is basically saying, hey man, remember this ability. Now it's going into the middle here in the center, which is also a wands card. So it's reinforcing the card on the left, and it's the page, the valet de bâton, the page of wands. And what he is actually very close to the situation you find yourself in right now. The page is a young person who's learning and who knows that he or she doesn't know what they need to know to go and do whatever. But they want to do it anyway. They're look at his face. He's looking over here. He's looking out this way, and he's kind of like, hey, I see. I know there's like this huge mountain to climb over there. I don't care. I'm just going. I'm just going to go do it. I've got this club. I've got everything I need. I'm young. I'm strong. I'm smart. I can figure it all out. Who cares? I'm going. I'm going to go that way. And I may seem a little foolish. It may seem high risk to people, but I know I've got wands coming out my ears. Look over here. I've got that one on the left. It's showing up. It's reminding me. It's basically hitting me over the head with it, saying, hey, you're really good at what you do and you can learn anything. And this page here is like, yeah, that's right. So keep that in mind, because the card is saying, be the young guy. Be the young guy that doesn't know necessarily what he needs to know yet. So what? You're going to get it. It doesn't matter. You're going to get that. Now, it's leading to another page of wands of cups over here. Another young sort of explorer. So, and he's looking into he's basically pulled the lid off the cup and he's looking in. He's basically saying, what's my heart saying? Which way do I want to go? I've got to figure out, do I love this or do I love that? And I'm young and inexperienced at doing this, but I don't care. I'm going to do it anyway because I'm kind of like full of myself with confidence because I've got all of these wands. I've got all this creative energy. I know I can solve anything. I know I can learn anything required of me. And so all I really need to do is basically just, which is the one I kind of just sort of naturally, when I sit down with my coffee in the morning, which one kind of makes me just that little bit more excited? Which one do I kind of just want to do? It just makes me feel a little good. It kind of makes me go down the street to the store feeling a little like, oh, what if I were able to do that? So it's the cards are saying You can learn and do anything. You've proven this. Yes, you're a little confused right now and worried, but enjoy the process, even if you don't know exactly all what you're doing. And just think about what it is that you just sort of naturally sit down and feel kind of cheerful about. And you don't have to rush it or anything. This is just, gentle sort of advice. Let me unmute you. There you go. So, yes.
Yeah.
The main thing here, though, is, figuring out your heart. That's sometimes more difficult than it sounds, But the main thing here is the ability to deal with it and learn and put all of your energy into what it is you do, and keep
All right, I
that in
appreciate
your
it.
head. All of this ability you have. Yeah.
Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome. Yeah. All right. Now, Golden Girl. Where's Golden Girl?
Right here.
Trying to close my panel. Golden Girly. Golden Girly. Okay. Hi, how are you?
Hello, fine. How are
Very
you?
good. It's your turn to ask whatever it is you would like.
No question, just
Oh,
general.
that's fine. Okay. General reading. Give me a number from 1 to 10. 6. Hang on 1 second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. All right, Golden Girl. Now, I'm going to mute microphones. Okay, so what you're seeing here, 2 major cards on the left and middle, and a number card on the right. Let me get my laser again. This card on the left is a big one. Sorry, I lost my laser. This card, I'm so terrible at holding these lasers. Hang on. I can't seem to pick it up. I don't know what it is with these lasers, but sometimes they just don't work. So I'm going to spawn another one. Hang on 1 second. Because I like to use the laser to make it easier for you to see what I'm talking about. Okay. Okay. The card on the left is a major card, and it's the Empress. And the Empress is, this card on the left is signifying something you have that's there. That's a major aspect of your personality. And she's all about nurture and family and making everything grow and everyone grow around her. And she has like this kind of calm, quiet, serene ability to just encourage people, to keep control of things, but it's always with the effort of growth. Very motherly, very much trying to make things work for people. It's a hugely positive energy, the Empress. It's like the person that you know will make the garden flourish. Okay? That's who she is. And so in every situation when she comes on the scene, people start to flourish and grow and get comfortable, and they get enthusiastic she helps everything move along in the right direction. So the cards are saying, that's you. Now here, the middle card is another major card, and it's the Fool card, the beginning of the tarot. He's the first card. And that's the person that says, I'm going to go out on a new adventure, and I'm not going to be afraid of what comes. I'm going to seek. I'm going to learn new things. I'm going to embark on a new trip or a career, whatever major decisions I have coming up. I am going to try to find a way to go down the path wholeheartedly. It's almost like, I think there was a movie a few years ago, like Yes Day or something, where a family decided, the kids made their parents agree that they would always have to say yes for a whole day and in all the situations. But that's kind of what the Fool card represents, saying yes to what comes along and following, going down that path, even though there are these little obstacles like the dog tearing the clothes. It's okay. It doesn't bother the Fool. The Fool is like, it doesn't hold me back. The dog can be irritating. That's fine. He's a dog. That's what dogs are supposed to do. And he's welcome to my pants if he wants them. I don't care. I'm still going down my road because I'm being positive. And that's what the Fool suggests. It's embarking on a big new adventure, letting change come and not letting it like make you all, sort of shy away from it. You actually go forward right into it. And of course, if you're taking this nurturing Empress card with you, all of that sort of potential for growth and encouragement, she's there at all times to kind of help you solve whatever problems should arise in this trip, this adventure that's going on. You have this quiet, easy mind and skill and mastery of whatever it is you put your hand to. You have that to always rely on back here. You can pull out your whatever you need at any time to assist yourself in this adventure here that you let yourself take. And what the cards are saying to think about coming up that this is leading to is the Nine of Swords, which is thinking and intellect and conflict. And the 9 is the number of persevering and pushing through and completing things. So as the Fool moves down his road, his journey, and he encounters obstacles that are much more serious than the dog nipping at his heels, he encounters huge obstacles, mountains to get over, rivers to cross. These are symbolic of obstacles in your own course of the next months or year. And so what will be required is the ability to solve problems that arise that are extremely difficult, but the 9 is the number of persevering and almost getting right to the end, the final effort to complete the process of change, of development. Learning something, there's something you're going to learn if you follow this path of the adventurer Fool. There's something that's going to come, that's going to be difficult, and you will have to put all of your power from the Empress card, all of your wisdom and nurturing energy. You will have to put it all to work to push through, to get over that final mountain on this journey that's going to be very interesting. And something you will solve here that you need to be prepared to put your mind to and really sort of focus on and deal with real difficulty that's going to seem insurmountable, just like the Fool comes up to a huge wall and he has to get over it. Well, this card is the card of solving that. This persevering 9 is very much going to work with the nurturing talents of the Empress, which are built into you. She can solve things, enormous problems, without getting flustered. Okay? And that quality will be called upon here to solve the upcoming difficulty that all big adventures and decisions in life, most of them, bring up at some point. So that's a general, yeah.
Thank
I mean,
you.
that's a general thing to sort of just be ready for. But remember, this Empress has that, she always makes things grow around her. So, and that could happen in your
True.
work, in your job. It could happen in your family.
Yeah, I'm currently in nursing school, so this falls in place.
Ah, see? Okay, so that, if
Oh,
you're a nurse, you couldn't get a better card than the Empress.
wow.
That's what, yeah, that's the Empress. I mean, the Empress could, I mean, she could be wearing, you know, what you would wear in a hospital. You know, it would be perfectly appropriate. You could do a deck of cards where you made the Empress actually a nurse. It would be totally, that would work
Wow.
perfectly. Yeah.
Right.
So it is now. It's now. What time is it? Let me pull. It's, oh boy, I'm over time. So I have to end the event. But I will. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow's December 1st.
1st of
Yeah,
December.
I think I can do one tomorrow. So what I'll do is
What time do you do it? Same time?
Yeah, I think that this time I've been doing them is what really works perfectly. I find. But what I'll do is in the next week also I'll try and do a much longer one, like a 2 or 3 hour one. You know, doing the hour.
So what time you coming on tomorrow?
Well, Pacific time,
Yeah.
6 p.m. The same time I came. The same time I
Okay.
came on tonight, I'll come on tomorrow.
Can you ask a question tomorrow?
Yeah,
Or
just
is
come
that
tomorrow.
alright?
What I'll do is I'll
Sure.
put the event up on AltSpace in their listing tonight. I'll just put it up tonight so it'll be ready for tomorrow. Yeah. All right, everybody. I'm going to take off.
All right.
Thank you.
Oh, I
Thank
have
you
a
for
question.
coming in here. And I will see you again.
What?